Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it. Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back tonight with a pretty sweet list from that Maverick Joe. This is Abzan Depths. You probably are aware of Naya Depths by this point, or Green-White, but Abzan is definitely another route to take, and it's a pretty sweet list. This is a list that looks at the sideboard for a lot of its black cards, but you do have Assassin's Trophy in the main deck as just a really nice catch-all. Especially in a format dominated by Blue-Red Delver, having a removal spell for all threats is pretty warranted, and Assassin's Trophy does that pretty well. So pretty happy to see that. Otherwise, pretty stock. The only change I made, which I wasn't too sure if it was just a miss, was the Dryad Arbor. I've replaced that with the second Bayou. And then we have some pretty cool cards in the sideboard. So Opposition Agent is obviously pretty nice, and just a great card to have in any sort of mirror match, grinding matchup, Stoneblade type variants, Death and Taxes. So pretty keen to see the agents here. And then also another one that I haven't played too much with is Necromantia, which is kind of like a surgical where you can take your opponent off a certain card. Obviously very good against namesake decks like Show and Tell, Doomsday, decks like that. It could be too slow as a 3-drop, but I'm here to find out. We do also have Deafening Silence in the sideboard for that matchup, which is nice. And then also just Grist in the board. A really nice card for the grindy matchups. It allows us to have removal through Green Sun Zenith, which is really nice. And pretty keen to see how this goes. Now I am playing on a new setup, so hopefully it goes all good. Hopefully it's good so far. A huge shout out to Maverick Joe. He is definitely one of the biggest supporters of the Green Sun Zenith, and I always really enjoy getting his lists because he traditionally has different lists than what you see online. So things like Bant Maverick, obviously here we have Abzan Depths, and I think it's really good to show just for players who might have the cards for it, but not necessarily have the cards of something like Naya, just to give players another choice in how to approach the metagame. And potentially this could be it. Potentially we could even see something like Plague Engineer in the sideboard if we really want to have a bit more sort of oomph against the decks that are tribal-esque, things like Elves, maybe Death and Taxes if you're worried about Mother of Runes. But yeah, overall, pretty good. I hope you're all doing well. An early shout out to Dan Neely as well, or a late shout out I should say, who came second in the Legacy Challenge on Saturday night with, I'm gonna say, Abzan Maverick, which is really, really cool to see. And of course, it's Dan leading the way with Maverick at the moment. We're playing a Legacy League. We're playing with points. A big shout out to Card Hoarder as well, of course, who allow me to play these matches with cards through their rental service, and mtgmate.com.au, an online seller of MTG singles in Australia, who has been, since there from the start. So a huge shout out to Nick and the team. I will have to quickly check that the sizing is all good once the first game loads. If someone in chat can say something in chat, I really want to make sure that that is all good as well. But here we are. It's Monday. Eternal Weekend number 1 is already down. I'm not too sure who won it, but pretty good. Hey Envy, thank you very much. That looks pretty good. Alright, so here we are. We can move this. Now that's going to be a little an issue. No, it won't be, because we can move this across. There we go. Chat goes across to here. This comes across to to here. Nice. And then this can actually come back to there. All right. And then of course we also need, now that's interesting. I didn't expect to see that. You're gonna of course have to see my hand. So let's move this up. Okay. Let's move this up. That's closer. Alright, there we go. Just move this down a smidge. Alright. We are gonna be on the draw with a pretty decent hand, especially with one land off the top. We have acceleration in Green Suns, we have acceleration in Mox as well, we have a turn 1 Reclaimer, so definitely pretty happy to keep this. Not too sure what we're up against. Last seen playing black. Okay, like a kind of mono-black deck. It's gonna be like a Mono-Black Helm deck, potentially. Okay. This is gonna be tough, especially with 3 Plague Engineers in the main deck, and of course Voidwalker as well, to shut off these Reclaimers. Okay. We're definitely playing a Windswept Heath. And then I probably am playing a Mox here. And then green sunning for Dried Arbor as well. Just to really get my mana going. But this could be a quick one if they have something like a Soul Land into Leyline. I guess Soul Land into Helm, because the Voidwalker itself does act like a Helm in that way. Like a Leyline. But yeah, here's the sort of list you'll see. So 4 Voidwalker, 4 Opposition Agent, 3 Plague Engineer, 1 Running Regisaur, 4 Sheoldred. Okay, there's the Leyline, which isn't too bad, as that is just a second copy of Voidwalker to some extent. That's a really nice pickup. Question is, how do I want to go about this? So Flagstones isn't an option here, like crop for Flagstones and sack it to Reclaim to get some value. The issue is as well, if they have 1 mana and Helm of Obedience, we do need 2 pieces of interaction, which is pretty tough. I think it's going to just be second Reclaimer pass with the trophy up, just because we are getting to the stage where we are just dead to the Helm combo. Definitely a tough spot. Trophy also a little bit rough in this matchup, where they do have a lot of access to just basic swamp. Getting rid of the Voidwalker here doesn't do a whole lot, so I am just going to untap Wasteland. Okay, that's actually pretty good, because it does take them off that Soul Land. Play with both. And then I think here, because I took them off the Soul Land, I'm happy to tap out for the Knight. And then pass. If they do have Soul and Helm, there's not too much we can do there, but I do like building out our board a lot. Karn's not too bad as we do have the trophy, but we don't actually have access to black mana at the moment due to the Mox being turned off. I guess we can see if they attack with the Voidwalker or not. So I guess here we attack Karn for 3, and this allows us to hold up trophy. And kind of hope that they play Helm out without having the mana to activate it as well, but it's a tough spot for sure. Did they play it out? They just have the city. I'm trying to think if there's anything we can do here, but I don't think there is. Because we have a trophy, but of course they have Voidwalker, which is exactly the same as Leyline, and we only have one piece of interaction. Tough. What do I like here? I like the Oof, the Force of Vigors, the Grist. The Safekeeper I don't think does a whole lot. If we look at this list, so I assume they might take out... What is this? Interesting. Potentially the Plagues. The Plagues aren't the greatest, but they do in some way cause some havoc, especially if they worry about Safekeeper. I assume not. I'm going to assume it's pretty minimal boarding. Because of the Karn package being pretty heavy here, so we'll see how this ends up. Safekeeper, Bajuka Bog. Libraries are still good. Endurance is quite nice. No. It's a flash creature, that's really it. Deafening Silence doesn't do a whole lot either, because typically if they play like a Chrome Mox, they're going to be putting in a creature anyway. I could see just a trim on crops because of Opposition Agent being so good. I think Library's still fine, especially to dig for things like Swords to Plowshares. Moxen is still okay, even though they have the Karn package. Maybe the full 3 are a little bit too much. I don't really want to cut down on threats. It could be Ramanap, to be fair. Especially seeing they have Leyline and Voidwalker. I don't mind this. A little bit slow, but it does have access to trophy, which is nice. So actually, I'm going to keep this. Also just has half of the combo, which is quite nice. Happy to use my search straight away. This does, however, mean we can't play Stage next turn and Night. We have to do it the following turn. I don't think I want to attack here. I think I'd rather just hold up the trophy potentially, and then be able to hardcast Force of Vigor the following turn. I think because of this, I'm actually happy to hit the... It's actually an interesting spot. Do I want to give them the land, or would I rather just force pitch and then lose my 2 lands? I would lose my only white source, which is tough. Next turn, if they go Khan, and then we copy Dried Arbor with Stage, it still doesn't kill it. It'll put it to 1. Yeah, I think I won't force because I do want to keep the planes. If I force pitch this, I just lose both these, so... tough decision. I think we have enough outs that I'm happy just to allow this, and just hope that it doesn't take these 2. Nice. I will just copy the Bayou here. Gives me a second green source if they do kill the Dried Arbor. That's pretty good. I don't mind just getting Grist here. Could also go for Knight and then just have the combo. That's actually probably better. Yeah. I think Grist is playing a game where I'm just not going to win it. Knight also gives me an out to something like Sheoldred. Pretty happy just to hold up Force of Vigor or the combo here. That's really an interesting spot. I assume they have our opposition agent. So I think in that case I'm happy to go for it, because I don't want to time walk myself. But to be fair, they're also something like Soul Land into Helm is probably a reason to keep green card Force of Vigor. Yeah, maybe it's a case of thinking, like, what are my outs? Okay. Guess we can see if they have, like, Ritual into Opposition Agent here. But at least then I do have Grist. Yeah, my only thought on not going for it there is If they just play a land and pass, then to me they obviously have opposition agent, and therefore I don't really want to do anything. Yeah, and now that it's stuck. But yeah, I do think, K-Star, I do think that it's potentially worth just going for it and making them have the opposition agent. Because if they do have land into Helm, then obviously they just do very well out of that. I don't think Necro is worth it either. Deafening Silence is interesting as well because of Ritual, but I think on the draw I'm less likely to bring it in, so here I'm pretty happy just to probably run back the exact same list. Yeah, it's a pretty good hand. If they go Swamp Pass, then it's a little bit tough, because then Ritual into Opposition Agent is just a great reason to keep that sort of hand. But we'll see. Opponent goes to 6 cards. No Leyline. Mox is really nice, because it gives us the ability to actually have a mana out of this without throwing ourselves into a opposition agent. So I'm actually going to play it now, pitching this, holding up trophy here. This is fine. I'm kind of happy. I think just because now the Soul Land into... I guess we do have Force, but Force doesn't do a whole lot here if they do have Helm, because we can't really interact with Voidwalker anyway. I think I'm okay in clearing the board, because if they have Sheoldred, we have Grist with an Insect to get rid of it. If they have Karn, we have Force of Vigor to kind of answer that side, so... The only downside here that it does give them an untapped Swamp, so again, Opposition Agent is live off a Dark Ritual. I also have Green Suns for Oof, which would be pretty nice. Okay. Probably just naming Insect here. So I think here we want to fetch up Dried Arbor, which will allow us to trade the Dried Arbor for the Voidwalker. And then we can Green Suns for Elvish Reclaimer, potentially. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay. Not too bad as we do have the Force. We just need to find an untapped land. Or a green card off the top. I don't want to save the grist there anyway because there's not too much to do. Don't him. Tough. Alright, they get down to 0 cards as well, so not too bad for us. Oof, Knight is pretty nice. Although Leyline is in play, but it will be a 4-4. Alright. It's on top of the deck. Okay. Oh. I will just go for it now. And hope. Hey, Mangu. A huge thank you for the raid. Welcome all those from Mangu's stream. My name is Dukes on Twitch. I play Legacy, typically FedEx in Maverick, Death and Taxes, or of course, Depths. Tonight we're playing a donation deck list, which is an Abzan take on Dark Depths, which obviously some of you might know that Naya Depths is quite well positioned at the moment, so haven't been seeing too many other variants, but hey, if you enjoy Legacy content, you can find me here, of course, where you can follow me for free. You can find me on YouTube as well, and on Twitter. If there's one thing I will say is check out the only short on my YouTube channel. It's a pretty cool take on how Cypher can create a pretty fast Marit Lage. I'm going to keep this. We have the Dry Double, which is awkward, but we have the Mox Diamond to pitch it. We also have the Fetch Land to play the Reclaimer, which means that from turn 2 the Reclaimer will be a 3-4, and if it doesn't survive we have a turn 2 4-4 Knight, which is really nice. We also have one piece of the combo, so pretty happy to keep this. Good matchup against the new White Stompy. I haven't played against it. We are creature based, so we do have ways to take back the initiative. We also have creatures that can get larger. Elvish Reclaimer as a 3-4 lines up really well, of course, against a 3-3 creature. I could see Palace Jailer being a bit of an issue, and also the initiative creatures that allow you to untap either a creature of yours or all creatures if you enter the initiative. This version seems kind of good against it because you do have the opposition agents in the sideboard, which is obviously quite nice to stop them from being able to ramp. And I think in that matchup, I would probably aggressively Force of Vigor Chrome Mox before they get to exile a card, because that's a real way to go after their mana. But I think the initiative is just a little bit maybe too quick, that it would be a bit of a bummer if it didn't work out and you just didn't have the early removal for their draws. The issue is if they have like a turn 1 Plume and then you swords it, they've already got a Plains off the card, and then they're also just going off with initiative, so that can be pretty tough. I'm just going to fetch in response. I assume this is mono-white initiative, speaking of, but there is a Grist in the sideboard, just as a way to either grind or find removal off Green Sun Zenith when needed. But yeah, I think Grist is probably the best reason to run a Black Splash. And then you kind of have your like 3-drop cards like Plague Engineer or Opposition Agent, which are obviously very good as well. Ooh. I didn't go for a basic there, but I don't think it'll matter because Reclaimer can sacrifice any land to get something else. But Unlicensed Hearse is a pretty good way to get around that. That's obviously going to take out our library and make our creatures pretty useless as being threats. Okay. Actually pretty happy here just to play out Knight and get that combo going, hopefully. We do have Prismatic Ending. No, we have Assassin's Trophy in the main deck to get rid of a Blood Moon. Wow, that's their turn? I did not expect that. Pretty happy here to just hold up the combo. Thanks to the Yavimaya, we can float a mana off the Savannah, get Dark Depths, and then use Dark Depths for a mana to actually tap the Dark Depths and the Yavimaya for mana to copy Dark Depths with Stage. And then we still have a mana floating and the Mox Diamond, which means we can save the Marit Lage from a Dead Gone if needed. So they're going to dead this. So we'll sack this. Get Dark Depths. And then I think here we actually allow this to die. And then just hold up 2 mana in case they have another Dead Gone, which would allow us to go and get Sajiri Step. Because Knight's kind of done its work anyway, so... Interesting. Okay, they obviously had nothing. Nice, alright. This is always an interesting matchup. We do have the Force of Vigors, which are really nice against Blood Moon, Chrome Mox. Collector Oof obviously slows them down a little bit as well. It does slow down us, but typically it's kind of nice to have the Collector Oof in the deck. The Endurance can come out. The libraries are just a little bit too slow. The Sylvan Safekeeper isn't too bad just because of Dead Gone. The Bojuka Bog's an easy side out as well. So I think it's just going to be the 4 for 4. Grist is tempting. It is a Green Sun tutor that does deal with Magus of the Moon. So I could even see Grist over Ramanap. I don't mind that. Ramanap's fine because they do have Soul Lands. We have Wasteland, but typically, especially in the unlicensed Hearse builds, you don't get too much value off it. So I think that little bit 4 for 4 is quite nice. Would I be interested in a green initiative creature as a Green Sun's target? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Any sort of value straight away that you get off Green Suns is really nice. So cards like Endurance, obviously great. Knight of Autumn. Knight of the Reliquary, of course, not too bad, but you have to allow it to untap to get value. I'm not a big fan of this hand. It doesn't do a whole lot in the early game. We don't have removal for like a turn 1 Goblin. We don't have removal for a Chalice or some sort of Blood Moon start, so pretty happy to mulligan this. One thing to note though is that post-board you can get some quick wins by, if they play a Blood Moon effect like Blood Moon or Magus of the Moon, and you play a Dark Depths into that, the Dark Depths comes into play as a mountain with no counters on it, and then if you remove the Blood Moon, this will then become a Dark Depths with no counters on it, trigger, and give you a 20/20. So the best kind of scenario is if they go turn 1 Moon, we go turn 1 Dark Depths, and then in their end step, we go Force of Vigor on Blood Moon. Blood Moon leaves the field, Dark Depths triggers, we get a 20/20, and then we can swing through. So that's pretty sweet. And it does come up a few times. Not the greatest hand, but I don't mind it as a 6. I'm going to bottom the Knight, but there's also a world where this hand gets locked out by Chalice that I'd rather get rid of. I want the Arbor as just a land drop. I'm pretty happy to keep it. think it is probably just one copy of Reclaimer, but it's tempting to keep both. I think we have enough outs to Chalice that I'm happy to bottom the night and just keep a low to the ground hand. And kind of hope that turn 1 play is just Blood Moon. There definitely is a red version of kind of Stompy that does play Blood Moon. I wouldn't say it's as competitive as the other versions, but you will see them online from time to time. I believe there's also like a Crack the Earth build. I'm not sure if there actually is a tool that does it, but I'd love to see a tool where you could... Okay. Put in like 2 cards and see where they've both been played in the same deck. I kind of want to get the Dryad Arbor online, so I'm going to play that this turn and then play the Forest next turn. But this Chalice, like, even though they went to 4, the card quality is definitely more important than the card quantity. So this one Chalice turning off pretty much all of these is pretty hard. Okay, this actually isn't too bad, because we have this Forest. Opponent's on 1 card with 1 mana. For a deck that typically plays a lot of 3-drops, it's not that great. Hearse is a pretty nice pickup. But now this Reclaim is online, which is nice. Just need to find Force of Vigor. Which is a 3 of in the deck. Not what I want. I can attack here though. Unfortunately, Flagstones of Trocare also does not work underneath Blood Moon. So do I actually want to do anything here? I don't mind turning the Bayou just into a Dark Depths here, because then it just turns on Force of Vigor. That's a really nice out, and it does tap for black at the moment. Sorry, red. I guess I might as well attack here because there's nothing that we're really doing anyway. Okay, just a land for them. Just a land for us. I will play it. But yeah, like, this is a case of my opponent mulling to 4, having a turn 1 Chalice, and essentially turning my keep of 7 into like a keep of 3, which is pretty tough. I don't think they have any flash creatures, so I'm pretty happy to attack there. Play the step. Okay. It's still not the worst. Sadly, we can't fetch... I guess we can. Yeah, we can actually... I should actually keep up the Reclaimer to go and get the basic planes. That's very correct, yeah. And maybe even just to start thinning my deck, I should just start using Reclaimer every turn. Like, there's definitely some pretty dead cards in this spot. Also means we don't take the 1 if they play a Goblin Rebel Master. Four mana. On, potentially? Hey, Lanza. I would say Depth is on the closest side to fair than unfair. I would say typically Naya Depths and Abzan Depths is a fair deck with a combo finish, not a combo deck with a fair finish. But there's definitely some players who probably don't have a great matchup against Depth and would say that it is an unfair deck. Because you do have some pretty busted starts, but for the most part. Come on, Force of Vigor. No black mana. Okay. I guess that's also a thought, is holding a land in hand, so if we draw into a Mox Diamond, we can trophy. And hey, Arm, thanks for the Prime sub. A huge thank you. Okay. Now we really got to find a force. I could block this one just to make sure. 4, 5, 6, we get under 13. Like, there is a world where we don't actually get the chance to block next turn. I think the big call for trophy in this list is that it hits Murktide, whereas against other decks, you're not going to get that. Oh, there's the Mox. So having a removal spell that hits all removal is pretty nice. Hitting all threats out of Blue-Red Delver. But yeah, tough spot. Got a 9. Alright. It's really on this draw. Okay. Cast Mox. pitch flagstones. But then there really isn't a great hit because we only currently have one forest. Yeah, because there's no way to... Like, our turn is literally just... I guess we can trophy and then swords at least. So I get 3 mana, so I might as well wait till they're set a stop on their main phase. But yeah, probably a good reason earlier with the Reclaimer in play to go and get the second forest instead of attacking one turn. I should also see if they actually crew this. But I think sadly it's just too slow. Alright, what do we draw? Nice. Because they can use the Fury to crew the unlicensed source. Probably just running this back, to be honest. There's no real changes that I want to make. Yeah, I think, I guess the Fury changes things, but I could have gone for the second forest a little bit earlier, which I think is just technically correct. There's no way to... Yeah, there's no reason not to. But hey, if you enjoy this content, definitely consider following the channel. You can also find me at YouTube, Twitter, and of course, the Green Thumb, Zenith.com, apologies, and also Discord. I would say the red version, Naya, definitely has a better Moon Stomping matchup because you do have things like Minsk and Boo, which just are really, really good. We do have mana online. We can turn 1 Reclaimer. But outside of that, it's a little bit odd. Mox Diamond pitch Dried Arbor. Play Yav, Green Suns for Dried Arbor. Turn 2, we have Depths. 3 mana. We can either Green Suns again, play Safekeeper. You could also play Safekeeper Hold Up. Green Sun Zenith. Hey Moto Baggins, welcome. Hope you're well. Doesn't have much interaction. I think the one thing we are missing in this deck is just a fetchable piece of Artifact Enchantment Hate, like Outland Liberator or Knight of Autumn. I'm pretty happy to keep this to see where it goes. All right. Cast Mox, pitch this, play this. Go for Reclaimer. Another land off the top would be great because we can turn that land into Thespian Stage and then Dark Depths away the following turn. It's pretty good as well. I'm just going to Green Suns again and play Safekeeper. Don't really care about that because we have the Reclaimer, which is really nice. Okay, that's an easy land to throw away. So I think you would just attack with the Safekeeper and hold up Reclaimer. Not too much we can do about that. So I could get Stage here, but there's not many draws I have that actually turn on the combo, if any, so I might as well just go for basics over time. This also turns on Force of Vigor as a draw. Or Trophy. Okay. Now we have a real line. We have Trophy on the Blood Moon. Use this 2 mana to turn Reclaimer, to turn the Forest into Stage and then untap. Warboss is fine. A little bit slow, which is good for us. Happy to block this. There's nothing that gets us. Oh, why not get a new Depth Under Moon and then Trophy Moon? Yes, B1. That is the line. That is a fantastic line. So let's do that. Let's go with... Float these two. Sack this. Go and get the last Dark Depths. That is a really, really nice line. All you, B1. All you. Yeah, very nice. They also can't, like, Dead Gone here because, yeah, really, really sweet. Very, very cool. I obviously should have seen the line. I just did not see the line. But hey, there we go. Very nice. Obviously speeds up that clock as well, so it doesn't give them the out to just like play another Blood Moon effect. That was really, really nice. Alright, on the play, which is nice. And I don't mind the hand. Depends how I want to play it out. It's really important to get this Mox Diamond down, so I could see this being a mulligan, but Mox, pitch, Depths, play Wasteland, Green Suns for Elvish Reclaimer. Okay. Pretty happy to see that, honestly. Now I'm pretty happy just to hold up the Reclaimer, I think. Turn this into flagstones and start going from there. Taiga. Okay. Hmm. They're gonna force it. That's fine. The play there was probably to get a Wasteland off the crop rotation. Okay. Pretty happy here just to hold up Swords and also Reclaimer. I could have fetched for Bayou there. Sorry, Bajukabog to turn off the Uro, but I think building out our mana is a little bit better. Hey, Punishing Waterfalls. I'm just going to fetch here. Get the Scrub. Get the... Probably just a Forest. I'm happy to throw away. And then just in case they draw into Caracas, I'm happy to Swords. Okay. Flagstones. It's pretty nice. They only have one white currently, so I kind of want to take them off that, if possible. Wow. Didn't see that coming, because now we get to flagstones. Go and get scrub. And then just go for Sajiri step to save this. I don't actually care right now about the Uros. They also tried to Swords Reclaimer, which makes me think they don't have a sweeper in hand. So I think because of that, I'm happy to try to Green Sun. Oh, I just played the Forest, didn't I? I did. I shouldn't have. I should have Green Sunned for 3, got Ramanap, and then got back Wasteland from the bin. What do I want to do here? Probably just hold up the Reclaimers, to be fair. This is fine. I don't mind trophying this. Seems like a worthy trophy play. We do have some good outs as well, just to attacking it next turn. But I also like holding up the Reclaimers somewhat, so I think trophy is fine. I could get a Caracas, but I kind of want to go towards just my own combo. Loam. Oh, this is actually fine. They're going to lose the Loam here. That's huge. Happy to give away the step and just go for Jukebog right now, taking out 2 Uros and a life in the Loam. Oh, we drew the Ramanap. Even better. Get back Wasteland. 3 red, 3 white. I think, yeah, that's actually just a really good spot for us. Pretty early concession, but maybe they just didn't really have anything going on. Very interesting. I'm going to assume this deck is only on Uro and Minsk to win the game, so I could actually see Necro not being too bad in this matchup. I definitely don't mind these two for sure. I don't mind dropping down on a crop. I obviously like the Bog and the Caracas in this matchup. Knight's very good looking at their mana base as well. Op agents are kind of interesting, but not really where I want to be. I don't think Necro is great, but just to try them out, I don't mind seeing how they play out. Ramanap's great. I could take out some number of swords just because Caracas and So Many Ways to Find It is a great out to so many of their cards, but maybe not too many. I could see like a 2-2 split of Crop and Sword. I Still like the Moxen, but I could see a cut down just because the card disadvantage does add up in these matchups. Yeah, I don't mind something like this. This is a 6 because we only have one land. I'm pretty happy to mulligan this. This is the type of matchup where I want to keep a hand with like 3 lands. Perfect. Keep. And I'll probably just bottom the forest. I'm not really scared of anything from there in regards to like Blood Moon or Ruination, so let's see how this plays out. Green Suns is actually pretty interesting here. But I like Green Suns for Grist down the line. So I think here we're just going to fetch up a Savannah and then play Reclaimer. Because if the Reclaimer survives, next time we have Flagstones to start getting that grind going straight away. Also, clock is pretty huge. We're 2 minutes down on clock, so I do have to consider that. They fetch for a Tundra here and swords the... Oh. Wow, Brainstorm into Brainstorm. Really digging. Huh. I still like Flagstones here as the play, and then just passing. I think building out our mana is too important to try to take them off, say, the trop there. Because if they have, like, green source into Loam, it's just a little bit too good. They're just going to pass. Makes me think they have Swords to Plowshares, but at this point I don't really care about it. I'll get the other Flagstones. Wow, we get to untap? I did not see that happening. I do like taking them off their Tundra. And then just holding up the combo here. Now I do just want to use this right now. Go for Scrubland. Go for Dark Depths. This also means they could just have an Uro. They don't draw the card, but they get to keep the Uro. Well, they have Caracas as well. Okay. Mox. Oh, does that allow us to play both? I think it does. Yeah. Nice. No great blocks, unfortunately. A few plays here. I don't mind just getting a Wasteland to see if it forces them to use Wasteland, because then we just have double Knight, which will both be huge and can most likely block this Uro pretty well. So they could either go for Stage here or go for the Wasteland. Whatever they go for, we can sacrifice to the Safekeeper to give it Pro, just in case they do have some sort of removal effect. Yeah, so happy to try to save this. I'm pretty happy to get rid of the Dark Depths here. I think we're kind of off that and onto the Endurance line, but we know they have a sorry, the Night line, but we know they have an Endurance, which is tough. But I do think it's worth saving this. Start with Night. Oh, it just hits? Okay, well, let's take them off their one green source. Get in. Oh, maybe they have Dress Down. Sanctuary. Sword. Okay. Three, 4, 5. So close. We could nearly have lethal. 6, 7. So what could they have here? They can't... I guess they could have Endurance because they could pitch it. But I'm pretty happy here just to let this slide. The multiples are 6, so we do have another 2 hits to take, potentially. Now it's tough, because if they have Terminus, it's a card I can't really play around as they have access to both of these, so I think I hold up the Knight for... No, I think I actually just play into a sweeper. I can't really win the game anyway if they do have something else. Probably should have taken them off. Potentially their Trop there, but see how this plays out. Happy to get Caracas. Caracas this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. A fetch land would be very good here. I believe a fetch land would be lethal even through. Oh, that might actually do it. I guess we'll see. Yeah, so the endurance. But now we can go float. Crop this away. Get a flagstones. Give this protection, sack this. Go and get another land. Give this protection, sack this. And that's lethal just by itself. Nice. Very cool. Sweet. We're 3-0. Hell yeah. That can be a tricky one. With like Uro being a threat on the board and making you kind of want to go for Caracas early on, but when the deck doesn't really have reach, you don't have to worry too much about the attacks from Uro. You can kind of just move towards you getting there, which is pretty nice. Hey, Northern Angels. Look, PH, it would be very cool to, but I'll take it a game at a time and go from there. Hey, Sleeping Pill, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. If you have a local scene, what it's like. What do we played against? We played against Mono-Red. We played against Hot Bant, it's called. And the first one was Mono-Black Helm. Some cool matchups for sure. Yeah, big shout out to Maverick Joe. Really cool to get the list. It's always pretty nice to see. What is the difference between Maverick and lands? Lands, by its namesake, typically plays a lot less creatures than Maverick. Maverick is a deck that utilizes the power of Green Sun Zenith to run a number of kind of silver bullet creatures in your deck that allow you to have some really nice outs to specific matchups. So things like Collect Oof or Gaddock Teeg. I don't mind this hand. Turn 1 Green Suns for Dried Arbor. Turn 2 Library, Hold Up Sword or Crop. Hey, HG Butt, welcome. Hope you're well. Thank you very much. And Jerry, welcome. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're well, my friend. I'm glad to see you have some coffee out. I had a really good coffee this morning. Just one of those ones you want to just hold on to, but of course it gets colder, so it can be pretty tough. You know what it's like. But yeah, I think lands is a lot more prisony. Maverick's a lot more, yeah, having a good idea of what your opponent is on and what sort of creatures really helps against them. Hey Roberto, thanks for the Prime sub. A huge thank you. And Stencil, a huge thank you for the Prime sub. Too kind. Too kind. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. Ooh, Blue-Red Delver. Okay. Not too bad here. Pretty happy to get this library down. We'll see what happens here. Yeah, let's go like this. This allows me to hold up crop and sword. I don't want to swords this just now because it's currently my only out. I'm happy to allow them to have it for one more turn. Because I'm in a position where I can play around days quite well, I'm happy to give them the benefit of having the DRC in play right now. Because what I kind of lose to is swords on DRC, days on swords, and there's not really finding an out to the DRC would be pretty tough. All right. So I'm actually going to, with this on the stack, I'm going to swords the DRC because that gives me a lot of information about how much we can actually take, or if this Dragon Rage channel is going to be on the field for a little while. Okay. Mox is pretty nice as it just allows us to have access to black and also get rid of this Yav. So now we have crop and trophy open, which is pretty nice. The crop also just being one piece of the combo. Or potentially Bajuka Bog, but I don't feel a big need for going for that right now. Seeing that they fetched here, though, I could see a world where we crop into Bog now, a little bit like a preemptive endurance, because it would be a 6/6, which is relatively big. Haha, Jerry, too kind. What have I done to deserve this? And hey, Rob, thanks for checking my YouTube content. I very much appreciate it. Fourth pitcher Murktide. Okay. That's fine. So they obviously have another Murktide. Yeah. And now we get to untap and play Trophy on it, which is really nice to play around days. Is it greedy? 1, 2. Yeah. What are the chances of their last two cards being force blue card? They did let the DRC go. The reason for keeping the flagstones is that it allows me to play Green Suns for one around days. I could also just put that back on top, get the flagstones this turn. Okay. It's pretty good for us. Ah, interesting. That's going to be a bit of an issue because we don't have a great sweeper effect. This isn't too bad because we do have Green Suns on top. So we get a double spell here. We get to start with Library. And then Green Suns for Reclaimer. Currently it's just a 1-2, which is a little bit sus, seeing that we know our opponent has not bolted us yet. Jeez. They have 0 cards, but they do have... This is actually a pretty big turn. So, the Reclaimer can go and get Bojuka Bog, which would turn these DRCs into 1/1s. So next turn we're probably taking at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going to 5. We could, however, pay 4 life and go to 9, which would allow us to pay for the Wasteland, Wasteland their Wasteland. In response to hit one of our things, we sack it to Reclaimer with 2 mana to go and get Duck Depths, and then with the 3 mana left over, we can crop rotation for Duck Depths and copy it, which would allow us to block 1, and then would still take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which would be lethal. So maybe there's a world where we actually put back the Wasteland and keep the Knight, which would allow us to crop for Bojuka Bog, and then also just have good blockers up. I think that's the play. And then I think just in case of force off the top, we crop now. Wow, nothing. Okay, that's a huge win for us. Really want to find a Swords to Plowshares. Okay. I think that's what we want. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, which is 2 for Reclaimer and 2 for Thespian Stage. And then it also leaves us 1 left over to pay for days for Swords to Plowshares. So I think that's the line here. They do also have this Wasteland though, so we have to get rid of that at some point. Oh, I also have Green Suns for Endurance. Maybe the Green Suns was better. That's a tough one. I think I'm happy to Swords this. Okay. Just gonna go for a Wasteland. Hit this Wasteland. They hit this. We can sack it. Go and get stage. This also turns on a few things that allow us to have these as untapped creatures. None of those. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so here we have 4 mana up, which means I don't have to go for it right now. But I don't think it's worth even playing the Windswept Heath, which would be Dried Arbor, but it takes a life to block and save at least 1 life, so I don't think it's actually worth playing. I'd rather have the Unknown card in hand. Hmm. And they keep what's on top. That's not good. And that's just lethal, right? Yeah, tough. Honestly, that's not too much. The endurance is nice. The library. I don't mind Grist, especially in this matchup where they have a bunch of 1/1s. Tough for sure. Maybe it was a case of, like, I think maybe the endurance and the Green Suns for endurance was better than the Swords to Plowshares, because the Swords saves me 3 life by hitting the Brazen Borrower, but the endurance just blocks the Brazen Borrower anyway, so it kind of is already a Swords to Plowshares. Tough spot. A lot of removal, but just a 1-lander. I'm pretty happy to mulligan this. This is actually much better. I'll keep this and bottom The Scrubland. Huh. Now that's actually a tough one. Maybe I shouldn't have bottomed the Scrubland, because I do want to pitch a land to the Mox, and I kind of want the fetch land and also the Flagstone, so potentially it was worth bottoming the Knight and just making sure our mana was online, but I guess we will adapt here. I kind of like going for Savannah into Dried Arbor here, because if they try to bolt the Green Suns, then the Reclaimer becomes a 3/4 next turn with the Flagstones in play. Oh, I guess not with the Flagstones in play because we pitch it to the Mox, but... just a pass back. Guess there's a world there where I should have actually read the graveyard and played the Knight around days and as a 4/4. Yeah. It's a pretty huge cost by me. Yeah, it's a massive misplay. For some reason I looked at the graveyard and thought the Knight would only be a 3/3, but of course Mox pitching the Forest makes it a 4/4. No Submerge is really nice. Didn't expect that. It's been a pretty cool run tonight. A lot of good decks. Mono-Black Helm, Mono-Red Stompy, Hot Bant, Blue-Red Delver. A lot of stuff you'd most likely see in a challenge, which is cool. Yeah, the turn 2 knight would have been so much better here. Hmm. No great attacks, sadly. I do also have to consider that endurance does increase the clock of just Murktide. Hmm. I guess we still target them. I don't think I give pro either. I think I'd rather just get one piece of the combo, potentially. We're pretty dead either way, unfortunately. Maybe there's a world. Yeah. Tough. Not too much to do there. Could definitely use with some, maybe a little bit more sideboard cards for Delver. Like Path to Exile is pretty strong. Obviously, Trophy's okay, but you gotta find them as well. And 2 mana versus 1 mana is pretty huge. Like, especially when trying to play around days. But Blue-Red's definitely king. Tough. 0-2. Yeah, definitely some small plays there as well. Like the turn 2 knight was pretty crucial to just not turn that bolt on against the Reclaimer. Alright, let's finish strong. I don't mind it. Mana's online, which is nice. Bauble. Okay. Is this just a really slow Delver start? Green Suns off the top would be pretty huge. Okay. Not too shabby. Instead brainstorm to set up the Delver. I think next turn it's stage into night, which means I definitely want a trophy. And then it's going to be depth the following turn. Let's see what they reveal. Iteration. Okay. Pretty happy just to trophy in response to iteration. I guess we could also trophy next turn around days. The knight wouldn't be a 4/4, which is pretty huge. So I think I am actually happy with the line of just going for trophy. With that second one now, I actually don't mind just going trophy into trophy. And wow, they actually allow that just to go straight away. No find. Murktide? Okay. I just clicked. I didn't mean to click. That's a big misplay for me, unfortunately. Happy to see what it flips. Pyroblast. They're gonna fetch. Pulling around Wasteland there. Just hoping that's good enough. Okay. Ponder's going to be fine. A Ponder Shuffle here is pretty huge because we do have the step to get through a blocker in the air. If they just only have the insect elaborations. Oh, sorry, the blue creatures. You chose to shuffle. Hey Boxing, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. Let me know where you're from. There's the Wasteland. Put it in the bin. Wow, they're really trying to dig. It's also one less days for them to be able to daze on the DRC, which is great for us. Okay, so they only have 2 cards left. I think Mox Diamond is actually the best draw off the top. It allows us to play around days and also play the step as our land for turn. You should look into Rainbow Depths. If you like depths and you like competitive decks, Rainbow Depths isn't too bad. Boom. You love to see it. You love to see it. There we go. Yeah, Rainbow Depths, D&T. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a quick look for you. Here we go. Legacy. Let's look at tabletop. Look, Oops or Spells is definitely up there. Where is Oops? Tabletop. Yeah, Oops or Spells about 750. Burn, of course. Sultai Depths. So this is the deck. Some call Rainbow. Which this is more just a turbo version by Wiltron. Great player. Sultai. Let's look at Negator 77. There we go. So this list will be around 800, but really, really good. So check out that. Also, Crusherbot, you should check out. Crusherbot online plays a lot of Hammer, which you'll be able to find here. He came in 3rd place in the Legacy Challenge, and here is a list. This will be about $1,000, which it's a modern deck as well, so you're going to get a 2-for-1, which is really nice. Let's bring in these 2. Let's take out these 2. Pretty simple stuff. Really want to have a Source to Plowshares in our opening and 3 lands. I'll keep it if it has just those 4 cards. Yeah, Rainbow's quite nice. You do, of course, get those lands. I mean, here we have like 3 lands and double swords and the combo. Pretty happy to keep this. All right. So even though we could lead on planes here and hold up Swords to Plowshares, because again, just days, I'm happy here to... Oh, that's actually pretty interesting because I could build up my mana here, which I'm pretty happy to do because getting Green Sun Zenith for Dried Arbor also allows me to get closer to this Reclaimer being a 3/4. So upside is we get a mana if it does stick around. Upside as well is if it doesn't, then next turn of Fetch Land turns this Reclaimer into a 3/4. But yeah, Rainbow Depths uses City of Traders and... Sorry, City of Brass and Gemstone Mine, which can be used in Dredge as well. And there are some LED-less versions of Dredge that are popping up. Okay. I definitely don't mind this sort of start where they've gone with 2 non-creature spells without any sort of added value of DRC in play or a turn 1 threat of any kind. Do they bolt the bird? They don't bolt the bird. Ooh. I think in this case, I'm actually happy just to play the stage out. And then probably in upkeep, I'm just going to turn the stage into a forest, so it can't be wastelanded. I'm not doing anything with my mana anyway, so pretty happy with where we currently are. Do they use the wasteland? They don't. Okay. Okay, that's pretty huge, because now we get to go cast Mox. Now, do I want to hold up the swords? I could go off the Dark Depths plan here. The downside of actually pitching the Dark Depths is if my opponent has sideboarded in Surgical Extraction, which I don't think is a great idea, but a lot of Delver players do as just another way to interact with the combo. And that obviously sets that up, so it kind of puts me in a position where I have to win with Reclaimer and Plains. Surgical and Dark Depths also takes a land out of the graveyard, which turns on Bolt against Knight of the Reliquary, which is pretty tough. I could solely rely on this Mox Sign as my only white source and just pitch the Plains here, but then I can't double spell this turn. I think I'm actually going to pitch the Plains. Hey, PVDH. I think I actually could have done that turn a little bit better, potentially. 1, 2, 3, 4 land. I think maybe the world there was swords on DRC. Hey, Thoth, a huge thank you. Hope you're enjoying it. And very cool to hear you're getting Maverick together. Love that. It's bright out. It is a little bit bright out. I have a few lights on. Do I want to play the DR? I don't think I want to play this. I don't think I want to play this either. Yeah, I think that turn I think if I ran that back, I'd be happy to get rid of the Dark Depths. Scalding Turn, that is fine. Delver's not too bad here either. Yeah, I think there's a huge, like, playing the Dark Depths probably incentivizes them to Wasteland, which turns on the Reclaimer. Okay. Let's get rid of this first. Play this. Play this. Now we have crop for Yavimaya if I really want to. Counterbalance on top. Okay, iteration first. Thankfully, the crop here turns the Reclaimer into a 3/4 just by sacrificing a land in play. Bauble, okay. Free spell. Double Wasteland. Unholy Heat. I think here I actually want to go for Bog to turn off Unholy Heat. Gonna get rid of the Dryad Arbor just because it's a little bit easier for them to interact with. Oh, I nearly clicked there as well. Shadow's also another great one. Shadow is a great pickup. And boxing, if you do have like a local scene as well, you might be able to find someone who would be happy to lend you like an underground sea if you're playing in the same event as them. The question now is, do they use either Wasteland? They don't. Wow. Green Suns? Grist. Now that's pretty huge. That calls for Celebration. I don't think I want a Swords just yet. Happy to see what they flip. Unholy Heat. Okay. That can kill off the Grist, potentially. DRC. I think in response to DRC, I'm happy to try to Swords this insect. Just so I don't get the added benefit of DRC's static ability. Static ability? I believe that's correct. Static ability? It is a static ability. Counterbalance is fine, especially in this position. We also get to trade away this insect for the DRC. They did bring in Surgical. Huh. So we do know that they have Unholy Heat, which could trade for the Grist, but maybe that's fine. I think in either case we get to attack with both of these. They currently have instant artifact. They can get land pretty easy. I think I do just want to deal with the DRC here and then allow them to make that trade of Unholy Heat on the Grist. Apologies. Stuck in my throat. We're back. We will play this out because it allows us to hold up Reclaimer and also the combo. And we are just going to sacrifice this insect and deal with the DRC. Interesting, they must have Murktide as their last card. Maddening Hex. Interesting, they brought that in? Don't really care. Pretty happy here just to hold up finding another wasteland. Do they make a move now? They obviously want to, or know that they have to, most likely next turn. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. No Hexmage, no. Which typically when you think of Abzan, you do think of Hexmage being probably one of the main cards to actually go for there, but yeah, not there. What sort of meta would you pick Abzan over Naya? Potentially a metagame that is quite incestual with Hydroblast, because then obviously Minsk and Boo gets tagged. You could also see an uptick in decks like Elves or other... I think here we're supposed to just tap for mana. Because this Wasteland takes out this one. And now they can't use this one in our turn. But if you have a metagame with like lots of go wide strategies, then I can definitely see a situation where it's good to have maybe like Opposition Agent for the mirror, or Plague Engineer for some of the tribal decks. It's pretty tough. Like Naya is just so well positioned right now that it's hard to say that I would take Abzan to a competitive event over that other version, but here we are. Ponder is fine. There's also the Legacy collection database, which if you look at the This Week in Legacy by Joe Dwyer, I believe he also links that in that article, which is kind of like a collection of data that is found. They chose to shuffle, which is great for us. Because now we just check them to see if they have it or not. Nice. Very cool. So we finished 4-1. And really nice to get back on Blue-Red Delver for sure. Oof. Yeah, pretty sweet. Pretty sweet to finish up like that. What do we have? Here's the list. Thoughts on the deck. It's quite nice that when you look at it, you're only really looking at a change of 6 cards in the main deck, being 2 jewels and 3 trophies. The trophies are somewhat nice because they do hit a lot of things, ranging from Murktide Regent to Khan to Ensnaring Bridge to Blood Moon, potentially Magus of the Moon. It's actually quite relevant that this is removal for both Magus of the Moon and Blood Moon. And of course, I think the big one is that it also hits Murktide along with DRC and Delver, unlike Prismatic Ending. But is the Black Splash worth that? That's the big question. I think if I ran this back, I'm not sold on these. I think it's a really cool effect to be able to strip an opponent off some sort of strategy like Doomsday or Show and Tell, but by turn 3, it's obviously quite tough to live that long without other hate and still get there. A lot of decks these days also just have alternate win cons, so Necro by itself might not get there. So I think if I would change this up, I would potentially add probably Knight of Autumn to the sideboard. I could see Outland Liberator actually, just because it's a little bit easier to get off. With the Blood Moon in play, it's a lot easier to grab. I don't mind taking these out and having the 3 Deafening Silences. And then I could see a Plague Engineer or 2 in the board, especially on the Black Splash. It's also just a really nice out in the mirror to Sylvan Safekeeper, which can be pretty cool. Yeah, you can definitely run into some decks without basics, but even some of the greedy ones do have at least like an island and even a forest at times for Loam. Yeah, I think I'd go with something like this maybe, potentially. I'm happy to run this back for Joe as well, and just see how it goes, because it was pretty nice to play against like some pretty good meta decks. Blue-Red Delver twice, Mono-Red Prison, Mono-Black Helm, and 4-color control. So pretty sweet to see. A huge thank you to Mengu again for the raid, and for all of those who came in from Mengu's stream and actually stayed around. That really means a lot. If you subbed, thank you very much. If you followed, a huge thank you as well. You can, of course, find me on my socials as well, which are linked below, but you can just find them in the stream chat here as well. I'm going to find who else is streaming tonight and send you guys over there, but a big thank you once again. I'm going to be back pretty soon. Probably even Thursday night, but we'll have to see how that goes. Ramar is actually streaming, which is very cool. Big fan of Ramar, so hope you guys enjoy that. But hey, stay safe, have a great night, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this one. This was the first stream with the new setup, so hopefully it worked all good. If you have any YouTube comments to say your piece, and we'll go from there. Cheers.